Good afternoon. It is time for the afternoon update, our afternoon coffee talk. It has been absolutely beautiful on this Memorial Day. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful afternoon in your neighborhood. Satellite and radar has been relatively quiet, though, of course, with a little piece of energy off of our East Coast, showers and thunder showers are firing up over these next few hours for Central Florida. So definitely something to keep in mind as we look to the forecast. And I just want to briefly address the forecast, and then we can look ahead and, of course, see what's doing in our overall outlook, not only this week, but the tropics. The tropics are going to be something to watch. 7 p.m. 86 degrees, showers and storms kind of coming to an end as everything works off toward the west. 9 o'clock will be into the lower range of the 80s. Muggy weather, certainly muggy weather. They say that Memorial Day weekend is the unofficial start to summer, and it absolutely is carrying that. Upper 70s there at 11 o'clock and then kind of continuing down from there. So we know that it's a nice and muggy setup. What about the next few hours? Let's take a look on Futurecast and let's just kind of, let's back it up to, we'll do like 6 o'clock. And you can kind of see the stormy weather out on the west coast. So that's where we're looking at the kind of afternoon, evening stuff. And then continuing on from there, it kind of fades on out. It's not going to be a big deal for us. Let's fast forward and look ahead to what to expect tomorrow, because many of us are heading back to work. In the morning, can't rule out a couple of coastal showers around. Watch through time as those coastal showers continue to kind of fade as they move inland. But late morning into the early afternoon, we're going to be on the lookout for some of those showers to turn even stronger across the interior. Now, I will say, just like I did this morning on Coffee Talk, that the computer models are really not doing a great job at handling this kind of weather pattern. So I'm not terribly confident in the overall projection, but this is a very normal thing when we transition from the dry season to the rainy season. The computer models are always kind of struggling with that. That said, tomorrow we do have the dynamics in play that we're looking at the threat for some strong to severe storms. That's this afternoon. For tomorrow afternoon, that threat kind of shifts inland even just a little bit. So today, low end threat for some stronger storms, west coast. Tomorrow, threat low end for strong storms across the kind of interior area, okay? So if we were just kind of look at it as a whole, next couple of days, low end threat for strong to severe storms, okay? All right. That said, let's talk about the tropics. We are just a couple of days away from hurricane season. The 2 o'clock advisory on Hurricane Agatha shows winds of 105 miles an hour. It is just about to make a shoreline in Mexico, and as it makes landfall, it's going to weaken and weaken and weaken. And we think that as it continues to move across Mexico, it does eventually make it into the Atlantic Basin, which is basically the Gulf, the Caribbean, and the Atlantic itself. And that's why the National Hurricane Center has highlighted this area around the Yucatan as having a medium 40% chance of development over the next 5 days' time. It's a really complex thing, and that led me and my colleague Jeremy Nelson, who does the long-range forecasting, to look. Because one thing that struck me this morning when we were talking on Coffee Talk, we were using the BSR. And the BSR, if you're unfamiliar, the BSR gives you the ability to look kind of check your math, sort of, so to speak. It gives you an opportunity to look at what happens over in the Pacific Basin, and it's a teleconnection of sorts, if you will. All right, so let's just pull up the BSR. You see that highlighted there, okay? This is the BSR, and I'm just going to roll it through time just to kind of show you what it does. It brings an area of low pressure kind of near South Florida and then up into the Carolinas, okay? So let me back this up, and let me just go all the way back. You kind of see around South Florida, that is the 18th, and that 18th is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that's like this weekend. Around this weekend, that is showing some sort of a storm system around South Florida. Now, the reason that I point that out is if we remove the BSR and look at the computer models, this is the most recent, okay? So this is newer than what we saw on Coffee Talk this morning, but this is the GFS model, and you can kind of see a storm system there. That's Saturday, the 4th of June. So it's not a monster storm system, but it's a storm system around South Florida. If we were to switch over and look at the European model, okay, that same time frame, there's a storm system around South Florida. So with the models showing that, and then looking at this morning and the BSR, we were all kind of discussing, saying, did we miss something in putting together the LRC? And the simple reaction is, yeah, we kind of did. This is, you can kind of see on the top of the screen there, this is Monday, November 22nd, 2021. And if I just drag the map down, you can kind of see around Florida. I may need to move this. Yeah, let me move this way a little bit for you. You can see around Florida there, there's a little trough. Didn't do much in November. The next version of it was January 26th. All right? January 26th version actually had a pretty decent little storm system. That is this. January 26th. If we look at the next one, it was weak again, April 3rd. So if we kind of go based on the stronger version, weaker version, stronger version, weaker version, this version that we're heading into would be the stronger version. So we missed it. And what's so ironic is that the LRC part of the pattern focusing on Texas, Louisiana is showing up after this Florida thing. But the real indicator is this one here, January 26th. Looks like we may have missed that one. So we'll see how this plays out, but that's an indicator. I don't know how we missed it, but we missed it. It wasn't that strong. So again, if we pop up this is the European model, it very well may be. It very well may be that it plays into that part of the cycle there. So anyway, tracking the tropics and may have something of note coming over the next couple of days. Also may have nothing of note. A reminder that anytime you get a tropical system that's trying to transition from the Pacific to the Atlantic, it's got to fade and then basically reorganize. So there's a lot more questions than there are answers. But what we do know is that there's a 40% likelihood that something tries to get going there. Okay? Definitely something we'll have to watch. Either way, hurricane season starts on Wednesday. All right. In the meantime, that said, let's put it all together. Central Florida's certified most accurate 7-day forecast, and we are tracking the chance for some stronger storms looking ahead to tomorrow. There's that impact icon there. And then for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's kind of all going to be comparing and contrasting and watching to see what tries to develop there in the tropics. We will, of course, be monitoring that very, very closely for you. But that's an interesting feature. And once we went back and case studied it on the LRC, it was like, oh man, seriously? So anyway, we'll definitely be talking more about that on Coffee Talk tomorrow morning, bright and early at 8 o'clock. Okay? But I did want to make sure to get you a quick update, of course. As the storms fire up this afternoon, I will be tracking them on radar. Cam Tran is up in just about 20 or so minutes on West 2 News at 4 with the very latest. Then Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi is with you at 5 o'clock for all the details. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I'll be looking more at the LRC, trying to case study it, and I will have more information for you coming up tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.